to go. So
Adam, we have 10 students right now total. So we're missing just three,
two.
right?
Oh no, three. I'm counting myself as one. Yeah, we have seven online today. Perfect.
Correct.
Yeah, sounds
Okay.
good. So we
Uh,
have for this recording, as usual, everyone. I'll send out the
No.
recording at the end of today. So you then have 90 days to watch it. Same for all the other lessons moving forward. Um, Usual cadence, sending you homeworks, trying to get the homeworks to me 24 hours before, if not earlier. I know the holidays is a really funny time just because everyone's so busy. Oh, very cute dog, Julie. That looks cute.
Uh, yeah.
Adam, I did send all my photos on the 8th on Thursday.
Do you
So if you
mind?
want me to resend them.
Yeah, could you just resend them just so that they're at the top of my
Okay.
inbox? That would be great. Is that a cavapoo or a cockapoo?
Oh, she's a lab. She's too
Or,
move over.
or a labradoodle?
She's a labradoodle. Yeah.
Looks a lot
We
like
just, sorry. She's just really needy. We just had to put her brother down last week. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, so she doesn't want to be by herself. She's always this way anyway, but now she's even more needier. So
But she's a good subject for you to photograph.
yes, yeah, she's pretty fun.
Cool. Okay, so as a reminder, because we haven't spoken for a little while, given the holidays and everything, we spent a lot of last lesson talking, getting a little bit more technical, especially with our iPhones, and talking about how to create shallow depth of field primarily on an iPhone. Um, who can remind me what does shallow depth of field mean? Iris, can you remember?
Uh, Wait a minute. No, take somebody else. I was
Okay,
distracted.
no problem. Elaine, what's the shallow depth of field?
Sarah.
Uh, well, the subject is close to the background.
Yep.
Kind of. No, I'll give you that's a 50% description. Julie, you want to help?
Well, the subject is clear and in focus, and the background is blurred.
Good.
It's bokeh.
Yeah. So as a reminder, depth of field is the amount that is in focus from the front to back of our photograph. So when you have a shallow depth of field, what happens is you are essentially making a skinnier. So imagine this is the front of my photo and this is the back of my photo. Rather than have the whole thing in focus, you're just creating a very small sliver. You're choosing where to place it by pushing your finger or moving your square on your camera into the appropriate box, like onto the appropriate subject. And then what we learned was some of the quick ways and some of the more technical ways to, like we looked at portrait mode as a reminder. We looked at some of the different, I think Isabella played around with some of the modes, sent it to me. We'll have a look at hers. We looked at some of the things you can do on that end. And then as a reminder, just a refresher for the group, can anyone else remember without going into portrait mode, if I was taking, what's the name of your dog, Julie?
Tula.
Okay, if I'm taking a picture of Tula and I want Tula to be sharp and everything behind her blurry, i.e. bokeh, but I didn't want to use the portrait mode, what's the easiest way on our iPhones to get that shallow depth of field?
Move closer.
Good. So that's one. So there's two options. So one is move closer. Remember the decreased distance we have to our subject. The shallower the depth.
Zoom.
That's
Would be
it.
zoom.
You got it. Good. So those are our two options away from portrait mode. One is zoom closer. Sorry, one is move closer. Zoom with your feet. Sometimes that's not practical though. But the closer we get, the shallower the depth of field. And then the second one is whether you're on your phone or using a camera, the more you zoom in, the higher what's called the focal length, which is measured in millimeters. Focal length is just the increment of measurement for zoom. The higher the focal length, always the shallower the depth of field. It's just the mechanics of how camera lenses work. And to the inverse, often when we shoot landscape photography and we shoot wide angle on your iPhone, if you went to 0.5 on that lens, if you remember, if you open up the camera and you hit the number on the left, or you have a wide angle lens, by its very nature, a wide angle lens creates a larger depth of field. it gets more of the subject in focus, which is advantageous because most of the time when we use a wide angle lens, we're shooting landscapes, interiors, like big scenes that we want to make look even bigger. And we usually want most of that in focus. Did anyone have any difficulties with the portrait mode? We'll run through it quickly, but did anyone have any difficulties with it? Can anyone remember, not to test you on the spot, but who can remember how far away you need to be from a subject for the portrait mode to work effectively?
6 feet.
3 to 6.
Yeah, 3, 4 to 6 feet away. Any closer, it's going to say move further back. Any further, so it's great for photographing still lifes that don't move. It's great for photographing flowers. It's not so easy to use a portrait mode if you've got kids running around or dogs running around, because it's very hard for you to optimize. They're always going to be between 3 and 6 feet away from the camera. Hence why I give you those other, like if you, I don't know, if I went and photographed my daughter running around a playground going down a slide, there's no way I'm going to get 4 to 6 feet away from her. Instead, I'd rather just get my frame, get the top of the slide, make sure I'm a little bit further back, zoom in. When she hits the top of the slide, I 1, 2, 3 hold on my iPhone, or I put my square there, and then I know I'm going to get the shallow depth of field behind her. One thing that I wanted to ask you today, as well as looking at your photos, is on your iPhone, how many of you have the Lightroom app?
You told us to put it on.
Mm-hmm.
Kate, have you got it?
Yeah.
You got it? Kate, thumbs up. Okay, you got it. Isabella, did you say you got it?
I think yes, I have. I haven't done anything with it, but I downloaded it.
Perfect. I'd like everyone to, because that was one of the things I mentioned in the last lesson. So one thing that I'd like to talk about today, once we reviewed everyone's photos, we don't have that many to review today, so we should have about half the lesson free in order to do this, is I know a lot of you are shooting with cameras, and that's great. And I want you to continue to shoot with your cameras. But a lot of situations, this group and lots of other groups, and many of my students are coming to me and they're saying, we're in this situation, we only have our iPhone. How can we make it more like a camera? And actually, helpfully, at the beginning of December, just after, well, actually it was probably just around the time that this class last met, but Lightroom brought out a big update, both on the computers, for those of you with cameras, but also in the app and the iPhone. And the update allows us primarily to do 3 things that I'm going to teach you how to do today. You can write these down. One is the ability to be able to shoot from your iPhone as a RAW file. Now, you've kind of always been able to do that through Apple. I actually taught you how to do it through Apple. But the problem is that Apple and Adobe don't like each other very much. So kind of Apple has its little vertical here and Adobe has its little vertical over here. So whenever you've taken photos on your iPhone, normally what usually happens I think everyone's on a Mac here, aren't they? Anyone on a PC? No, you guys are all on a Mac. That makes life really, really easy. So what happens is that the photos go up into iCloud, how like your iPhone is backed up, and then they come down, and when you come on your computer and you open the Apple app Photos, the one that looks like a rainbow flower, all your photos are there. The problem is that the majority of people who are doing anything what I call prosumer, which is like semi-serious with their photography, they're taking lessons, they're getting more into it, they're making books, they're printing stuff out, they're entering contests, they're using Lightroom on their computer. And the problem is those raw files that you're taking on your iPhone are not coming down into this bucket, down into Lightroom. They're coming down into Apple Photos, and then it's a whole hassle to transfer them across. Until December, we had no choice. That was the only way. There was a whole manual process you could do to import your photos into Lightroom from Apple Photos into what's called Lightroom Classic. Lightroom Classic, as a reminder, is like your mothership. It's like your home base on your computer. It should be for all of you, your one-stop shop for photography. The problem is you've never really had a way to streamline the whole process and get photos going from your phone straight into Lightroom Classic. The good news is you can now do that, which is great, which is a real game changer because it means we could go onto the Big Sur, take pictures, and you could only have your iPhone. And when you got home, they'd be all waiting for you in Lightroom when you got back. And all you'd have to do is put them in a collection and then work on them as you would a normal photo from your camera. So that's a big advantage. So shooting in RAW, ability to be able to maintain or stay in the Adobe ecosystem. And the most important one, which I'm going to teach you today, is the fact that you can take significant manual control now over your iPhone. There's always been these like third-party apps that you can do it through. They haven't been very good. But now Apple, by default, has everyone who shoots on the iPhone, everything happens automatically. They don't want you really thinking about things because the majority of people don't know anything about photography. They've never taken a photography class, and they don't want them taking a picture that's bright white, too dark, really blurry, like really sharp, and no one has any idea why, because otherwise everyone would be going to the Apple store and saying, hey, my iPhone's broken. So one thing that I want to push you all to do today is to get your iPhones to a point where if you don't have your camera, I'm not saying we could get exactly as good a photo, it depends which iPhone you've got as well, but we could get in good light. A lot of you send me landscape pictures, pictures of the ocean, pictures of like kids in playgrounds, people have pictures of dogs running around. Castle send me a picture of a horse like in a field. All of that, if we can start to control more of the things on the iPhone, in good light, the iPhone is phenomenal. So I want to, and there's a great phrase, the best camera you have is the one with you, which for most of us is our phones. I mean, I'm a bit different. I carry around a camera with me the whole time, but that's my job. But for most normal people, they're not carrying, and they don't want the weight. And maybe you're driving in the car and there's an amazing sunset out of the window, there's a rainbow, and you want to take a picture of it, but you don't have your camera. I want to teach you how to do that. So that's going to be so just as I'm talking now, and as I'm going through these other things, can you just, everyone, please make sure that you have the Lightroom app. All you have to do is go to the App Store. It's LR. You have the Lightroom app downloaded on your phone, please, ready for the second part of today's class. That makes sense, Deborah?
Question.
Yeah, go for it.
If we sign into it, which I'm doing now, I had it, but I just hadn't opened it up or anything.
Yeah.
Will it automatically go to my computer?
No, I got to tell you how to do it. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna go.
And what happens to my albums that I have them for work? Will
Mhm.
they stay where they are in the photo thing, or are they going to disappear into?
Well, hold on. Most of when you say
Like,
albums, those are in Apple photos, the normal photos.
good, and
So
they'll
what?
stay there.
So what we're gonna, yeah, they're not gonna disappear. What we're
Okay.
actually gonna do, and most people are taking pictures for work, they're taking pictures of receipts, they're taking pictures in the grocery store. All those photos, I want to stay in Apple Photos. I don't want them coming anywhere near my Lightroom because I'm just gonna have to delete them. So we're gonna kind of create two buckets for your photography. Like the stuff that's like documenting recipes, receipts, like stuff where you just people use that, taking a photo of a letter, whatever. That will never come into Lightroom. But I'm going to set up all your Lightrooms. You do need to, as Isabella mentioned, if you haven't, you do need to sign in with the same email and password that your normal Lightroom Classic on your computer is. Show of hands, we've all got Lightroom Classic on our computers, haven't we? I think. Put your hand up if you haven't got it. No, everyone's got it. Amazing. So Isabella just downloaded the app or hadn't used it for a while, so it asked her to sign in. It may ask you to sign in as well. So keep that in mind. But once we're signed in, I'm going to talk you through. Don't start playing around with it too much because we're going to run through some settings. And once the settings are set up, we can kind of set it and forget it. And then I want to teach you how to use the camera. But we'll get to that in the second part of today's class. Anyone else got any questions? Okay, cool. So let me share my screen.
Adam?
Adam, you kind of started there. You could shoot from the iPhone. What were the other points?
So there's three main things that
Update.
so one is you can shoot a raw file from the Lightroom app. So you're shooting a photograph that's essentially about 4 times the size, 4 times the amount of dynamic range. Remember what dynamic range means, Cass?
Yes.
What does it mean?
More pixels.
No, close. Anyone else? Can anyone remember what dynamic range means?
Mm-mm.
Light,
Yeah, what about light?
the brightness.
Kind of. So dynamic range, write this down. This is a really important photography term that you should all know. So dynamic range is how much light
That's
the
right.
camera sees from the darks to the lights. It's the variation between the shadows and the highlights, the dark bits and the bright bits. Generally, when we take photography, take photos, we want to see as much dynamic range as possible. The more light we see, the more three-dimensional our photo looks, the more contrasty it is, the more clarity there is, the more color there is, the more sharpness there is. When the sun is from behind us, which often I've told you to shoot with the sun behind you or a window behind you, we create more dynamic range just because of the lighting situation. When the window is facing towards us, the camera, the dynamic range decreases. The camera doesn't like it. But when we shoot as a raw file, to Cass's point, yes, it gives us more megapixels, which means if one day we want to make a book and we want to blow our pictures up or we want to put one up on the wall, then it's going to look better. But why I primarily care about you shooting in RAW, or you'll see it come up in a minute when we do the Lightroom app as DNG. Don't worry about it, I'll get to it in a second, but it stands for digital negative. It's just the type of RAW file. Is the fact that we just have a much, much bigger photo to begin with. Not bigger physically, but bigger in terms of how much data is in the photo. And the more data we have in the photo, the more we can do with it, whether it's cropping it or changing the exposure or increasing the saturation or whatever we're doing, without technically degrading the file. We don't want to scratch away at the photograph. We don't want to do what's called destructive editing. Because then every time you do a slide or every time you change something, the photo gets slightly more like blurry, pixelated. Same is true as like, let's just imagine I was a hummingbird on a tree and I'm all the way back here. If you take a picture of me and you're not in RAW, your iPhone has a sensor that's about, depending on your iPhone, let's just use a round number, 20 megapixels, okay? If you only come in on me here and you take 10% of the whole frame, we end up with about a 2 megapixel photo of my face, which is useless. Can't do much with that. You need at least really 5 to 10 megapixels for the photo to be usable. When we take a RAW file, because we have so much more data, suddenly we go from 20 megapixels to maybe 50 megapixels or 60 megapixels, depending on your phone. Then when you cut in on me, instead of having a 2 megapixel image, you have a 6 megapixel image. So it allows you to be able to, if you really need to crop aggressively, it helps with that as well. But Cass, the three things were: one, helping you shoot in RAW; two, staying in the Adobe ecosystem. So it's going to come straight into your Lightroom Classic on your computer. And three, the ability to be able to manually control the camera on the iPhone. And we'll look at that in a minute. I want to look at your pictures first and then.
Wait, I have a quick question.
Go for
Sorry,
it.
it's downloaded and it says, do I want to limit access, allow full access, or don't allow?
Just do limit for the time being, but don't worry about it because we're going to change it in a second.
And I didn't take the really expensive one.
What do you mean by the really expensive one?
They wanted one for $50 or something.
No, it should be free. This should be totally free. No.
I
That's
just thought I might like to try it out.
no.
And I said,
No, thank you. This should be 100% free. You all have Adobe accounts. This is
okay, cool.
this is a free app. We'll get to it in a minute. We'll just take a rain check on it for a second. Let's look at everyone's pictures. Let's talk about, make sure we really understand the portrait mode. And then it's going to really kind of come into sharp focus the second part of today's lesson when we learn how to take advantage of the Lightroom app on our phone. So with that, let me share the screen and let's make sure that we can see Iris's glasses. Can everyone see this okay? Hold on, I'm going to reshare. That's not a good way of me doing it.
Adam,
Yeah, hi.
did you get my photo? I
I
sent
did.
them
I put them
on
in. I've got them. I was doing it. I was doing, could you tell I was doing it as I was talking at the same time?
Yes.
I brought them in. They're fine. I got them. They're in here.
Okay.
Thank you. Um, apologies that they got missed. The holidays is a really funny time because I was in London. I had an out of office on, and some things went to my spam. That's why I asked everyone at the beginning. I wanted to check. Anyway, so Iris has kind of taken the theme of focus and kind of portrait, both literally in terms of like the focus through the glasses here. I think it's really strong, but also look what a great job she's done of creating that shallow depth of field. Look at the difference between the front of the glasses and the back of the glasses. It's an incredibly shallow depth of field here. A glass,
Love
like, yeah, I mean, I actually, I kind of like the crop iris that you originally did with the pencil and the thing, but I also was playing around. I do like the a slightly closer crop as well, just where you really, because it's kind of fun that you can see through the lenses of the glasses. I'd almost be tempted if I was setting this up. So let me just grab my pen over here. Like how you had the pencil, I'd probably have the pencil sitting here and a slightly closer composition. So the pencil could be here rather than a little bit further out in the frame.
Mm.
But then arguably seeing the draw, I just think that, especially I can tell you, GCA hate dark black space. I don't mind it, but GCA judges hate it. So I would be conscious of that. But from a purely technical point of view, I'd probably be worried that the eye is getting a bit too drawn into this negative space here, which looks like you've darkened. It looks like you've intentionally darkened that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Same here, which is good for bringing attention to the brightest thing, the highlight. But I think I may have been tempted. I can't recreate it exactly, but basically to go in, I don't like it with that. It needs to be higher up like that. But that pencil sort of moves slightly in, and then even I wonder if we can offset these a little bit.
Huh.
Something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. I love the kind of the story behind this picture. Great idea to turn it black and white because the photo has a great dynamic range. So the photo has the really bright whites. Here's your bright whites. Here's your dark blacks. And it has lots of shades of gray in between. Remember I shared with some of you, there's that photographer who many of you have heard of. You see this with Ansel Adams, but probably the most famous advocate of high dynamic range black and white photography is someone called Irving Penn, who had an exhibition 2 or 3 years ago at the De Young. But you can look up his work, and he's a really good proponent of using the deep dark blacks and the bright whites. But most importantly, when Iris took this, she made a very conscious decision. I want this to be sharp, and I want everything else to be blurry. And that really, especially with this like interesting like dresser or drawer, like the way the notes, the bokeh, like look how it goes more and more blurry as we go to the back. And I like how kind of it's brought into focus, like right here, through looking at the glasses as well, in that this clearly looks bigger than everything else. When you took this, Iris, did you use the portrait mode? Can you remember?
Didn't. I remember you talking about it, and while you were talking, you said, "Get up and take a photo now," which I did.
Oh, this was taken during the last class.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Great. So this is a great example of what we talked about at the beginning, in that Iris just got up, moved her feet, and simply getting up close to the subject. The iPhone is now phenomenal at creating this shallow depth of field. Really good. Really, really good. I think there's tons of photos that you could do here. I think there's tons of ways you could like crop this. You could probably go here. You could even change. This would be a good like if you had something that was really like important here in the middle, whether it's the club logo or something like a word or whatever. That's obviously clearly the emphasis. But this would be a good candidate, Iris, as well, for anything. If you ever see the word frame come up in like a photography contest, obviously it's literally a frame, but it's also a frame within a frame. And where do we think, Isabella, where do you think the light's coming from when Iris took this?
Behind.
From which side?
Well, from in front of where Florence Isaacs is written.
Yeah, you got it, because I was going to draw the clock to help you out.
Yeah.
So here she is taking
Ah.
a photo, Iris, and the light is coming. Here's 3 o'clock. Here's 9 o'clock. Is there a window there, Iris?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 12 o'clock.
This is lovely, like soft window light. Remember I told you guys the phrase, window light is the best light? Great for taking, like, Julie needs to take a portrait of her dog. If she can, get it right by the window, put your back to the window, and you get this lovely soft light. It makes the job for the camera 100 times easier.
Let me take your picture.
This is excellent. This is very, very good. Nice job, Iris.
Thank you.
Let's look at this one. So this is Karen's intentional camera movement picture. Again, we're going to be able to play with this even more with what I'm going to show you today in the Lightroom app. Are you here? This is the first time I've seen this, Karen, but are you standing stationary or are you on a bus or a car?
I'm stationary. It was a rainy day. I was trying to capture the rain.
Yeah. So primarily you've moved your hand
Mhm.
left and right. Who can remember is this? Let's ask Kate. Kate, is she using a slow or a fast shutter speed here?
Slow.
Good. So to do an intentional camera movement, as a reminder, what we're seeing is a period of time where our hand intentionally moves in whatever direction we want to move. I think this has got a really nice ethereal look to it. One thing that often happens that I don't think I've mentioned to you up to this point is when you create an intentional camera movement picture, ICM, is you often actually decrease the dynamic range because the camera is moving between essentially a series of frames. It's like looking at different things, and it finds it hard to populate the full dynamic range of your camera. So you can see, I mean, this was a kind of a grey, dreary, rainy day anyway, but a great little tip for whenever you shoot a ICM picture is in light, and this will be great in a minute when we hook up your Lightroom from your camera on your phone to Lightroom here, because you'll just be able to, you'll take the picture and you'll come home and it'll just be sitting waiting for you like this, is a great way to help bring back the dynamic range. It's a bit of a hack, but is to use this slider here, the dehaze slider. It was originally intended to help cut. It was actually designed by some engineers. Adobe is based in San Francisco. And they tried to design this to help photographers cut through fog, because obviously there's so much fog in San Francisco, same in Carmel. But this is great for if you look at the difference between that and that. That and that. Look at the colors of the green. Now, sometimes we want to create something like, I don't know, artistic and ethereal, but most of the time we want to bring back the dynamic range, and usually sliding the dehaze somewhere between 0 and an absolute maximum 20. I wouldn't go any further than 20 on an intentional camera movement picture helps just bring back some of that dynamic range. There's the before, there's the after. As a reminder, when I'm in Lightroom to do before and after, I just hit the slash key, which is underneath the delete key on all of your keyboards. Whenever you hit that, you'll see up here, when I hit it, you can just toggle between before, after, before, after. Great for when we're working on photos to see how far we've come and do we need to go further? Or have we sometimes we've overdone it. And the second thing that can help bring back dynamic range, this is true for all photography, but very relevant to this picture from Karen, is actually using this tone curve that again we've talked about. I'm just going to give you a quick overview because it's been like a 1 minute Cliff Notes refresher. So the tone curve has essentially two, it's like a graph, it has two axes, this one and this one. You can feel free to take a picture of any of this as well. This is shadows to highlights. Highlights. i.e. darks on the left, brights on the right. This is where is the information falling in your photo. This histogram that you see here is exactly the same as what we see here, up here. It's just squished into a box rather than being in a rectangle. It's the same shape. And essentially that's showing in this photo, where is the data lying? Is it lying in the darks or is it lying in the brights? You can see the predominance here is mostly kind of in the darks because almost all the picture is in the shadows. It's only this bit up here that's in the highlights, which is this bit over here. A common misconception when they look at a histogram or work with a tone curve, if people think that this corresponds like left to right, to like what's over here on the left of the picture and what's over here on the right of the frame. That's not true. It's purely showing the strict definition. It's the distribution of data in a frame from the shadows to the highlights. Darks is always on the left in photography. Bright is always on the right. The X, so if that's the X-axis, the Y-axis, the one running up to the top, I'm doing a different color. This is increased brightness, i.e. the higher you go up on this bar, the brighter things are going to become. The lower you go on this bar, the darker things are going to become. This is going to make a lot of sense in a minute once we start playing with it. And this line that runs across your histogram, this is contrast. And this is a far better way to get contrast, increased dynamic range, than use this slider up here that I absolutely hate. And I tell everyone not to use it. Because it's really crude and it just looks like you've over-edited your photo. So shadows to highlights on the bottom, brightness on the top, and as we plot the line across the histogram, that is contrast. Anyone got any questions on that so far before I move on? Okay.
How do you wait? So how do you use this box? I mean, you haven't.
I'm about to tell you right now.
Okay.
I just need to explain what it meant, and then I'm going to show you how to use it. It's a great question. So the aim of the game, 95% of the time, including in this ICM photo, intentional camera movement photo, is to increase the dynamic range. See more light from shadows to highlights. Remember, I'll just write this down here. This is good for you to write down. Increased dynamic range equals increased light, which equals increased color, which equals increased clarity. DR is dynamic range. So the more dynamic range we see, generally the more three-dimensional our photos look. For want of a better word, it helps them pop off the screen or pop off the page. It's going to make them more eye-catching. And by far and away, the most advantageous way to do it is by using this thing called the tone curve. So the question is, what do we do with it? How does it work? The easiest place to start, and hopefully you can see it, unfortunately I can't make it any bigger on my screen, so I hope you can see it okay, is you'll see in the background, there's a grid. It kind of looks like graph paper that you would have had when you did math at school. There's a grid plotted there. When I take it away, you'll see if you look really carefully, there's an even smaller grid. There's like squares within the squares. To start off with, an easy place to start is I want you to locate the top right-hand corner. This is a bit of a mouthful, of the bottom left-hand square. Right there. So if I take my thing off, you'll see the square. So I want to find right there. Top right-hand corner of the bottom left-hand square. And what, Judy, you got a question? Hey, Julie, you got a question?
No, I'm just I'm mumbling to myself.
Oh, no worries. I just saw your hand go up. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so all we're going to do is going to hover our mouse over this, and we're going to left click, and we're going to drag it just ever so slightly down, like that. I'll over exaggerate it just so you can see. What that is doing is that is making the shadows darker because we brought it down. Look at the dark parts of Karen's picture. Look at them getting darker and darker. Oops. Look at them getting darker and darker and darker as I go down here. If I go the other way, they're going to get lighter. The general rule of thumb, we want to make the shadows darker, like that. That's step number one. Step number two is we're going to go locate the bottom left-hand corner of the top right-hand square. Right there, my green circle. So the bottom left-hand corner here of the top right-hand square. And if we've made the shadows darker, what do you think we need to do, Karen, to the highlights to increase the dynamic range? Do we need to make them brighter or darker?
I would think darker.
Incorrect. If we make them both darker, we're decreasing the dynamic range because you're kind of keeping the dynamic range the same it is. A good way to think about it is imagine, let me do some black and white here. So here's your shadows. Okay. And here's your highlights in white. Highlights. Okay. What we're aiming to do here is we're aiming to make the blacks blacker and the whites whiter in order so when we look at the whole thing, we have more dynamic range than we started with. If I make the shadows darker, but then I also make the highlights darker, then I'm not really doing anything. I'm just shifting the whole thing along. If you imagine, it's like having two ends of an elastic band. And I want to make the elastic band bigger. I want to pull both, one darker, one brighter. If I pull them both in the same direction, the elastic band's not going to get, like the hair tie is not going to get bigger. So actually what we're going to do is we're going to take the highlights and we're going to lift up to make it brighter, like that. Look at the before and after. Before, after. Before, after. More contrast, more clarity, more color, more light. This thing that I've just drawn, and I'll draw it big on our photo. So here's our tone curve. This S shape that's like this, the pink is what we pull this, that one went down, and this one went up. This is the classic increased dynamic range or increased contrast curve. This is done on 95%, if more, of professional photographs that you see.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's once you learn it, it's really simple. It's just the kind of the concept of what's actually going on takes a little bit to get your head around. So this is a increased contrast curve. Shadow, and you can actually see it kind of tries to help you out. You can see it inside there. The circle is black. That's because it's the shadows. And this circle is white because it's the highlights. So the highlights have got brighter up. The shadows have got darker down. We've increased the dynamic range. Make sure you all get a picture of that S curve.
So how are you making those? The way you made those little dots? How did you make?
So all I did, if ever you screw this up, and it's very easy to screw it up and just do something like this, and you're like, oops, you just double click on the word here, adjust, and it sets it back to normal. So all I'm doing, Cass, is I'm moving my cursor. I'm coming to the top right-hand corner of the bottom square. I'm left clicking and I'm dragging down. Then I'm letting go. Then I'm coming to the top right-hand corner, bottom left of the top right-hand corner. I'm left clicking and I'm literally just dragging straight up in a line.
Left click.
Left clicking, yeah. You never want to plot more than 2 points on your histogram because otherwise you're going to get in trouble. You're going to start doing weird and funky things. That's a whole nother class. But this shape is the S curve is, as I say, it's on 90%, if 95% of professional photographs. Actually, what's really, in fact, I'll show you the other ones first and then I'll show you what we can do. Most of the time, what we don't want to do is the opposite. You don't want to lift the shadows up and take the highlights down. Because what you're doing there, that shape, this shape, what do you think we're doing to the dynamic range?
Decreasing it.
That's it. So this is a decreased dynamic range curve.
Mhm.
And generally, this is a big, we don't do it.
Mhm.
Lots of people make a mistake and they go the wrong way.
Mhm. Oops.
So we want to increase it, not decrease it. Now, what's really handy with this tool is if I do it, I'll just do it again on as it's meant to be done. And this, by the way, when you guys practice this will be a bit fidgety.
Yeah.
Like take your time with it. It can be a little bit temperamental. You can
Right.
sometimes you can see plot more than 1 point by mistake, then the photo complete. But remember, everything in Lightroom, it's impossible to mess it up. So all you're going to do is you just double click on adjust and you try again. But what's cool is imagine I had a set of pictures, like I have all of your pictures here, and I knew I wanted to do this on every single picture. It's a bit of a pain in the butt to have to go through 10, 15, 20 pictures and do the same curve on each one. So I would recommend that you do it on your first photo in your collection here, which is what I just did. And you can see this is in a collection called like Carmel Garden Club, and here's your guys' pictures. Then what you can do is you can left click on the one that you made the change in. So you'd highlight it like this. And then I want to select everything else in the collection. So I'm going to hit Command plus A. A for all. Command plus A. That's select all.
Mhm.
Now what that's done is if you look carefully, Karen's intentional camera movement photo is a little bit more highlighted, just a little bit. I wish they made it more obvious, but it's a little bit brighter than Iris's glasses and all the other pictures.
Mhm.
Just a little bit brighter. This is showing me that this is what's called the select. I'm using the Lightroom language here because you'll see this come up. And everything else, all of these, are what are called the candidates.
Right.
Those words come up again and again in Lightroom. Select just means the thing you've selected. The candidates are everything else that could match the selected photo. So left click on the first image that we've done the tone curve on, then Command A. When I did that, down here, where my green arrow is, you'll see, if you turn your attention to the bottom right of my screen, if I don't do anything, everything is blanked out there. There's nothing there. Even when I have one photo selected, those are blocked out. The minute I hit Command A, those light up.
Right.
What I'm teaching you here is a technique called batch editing. It's a massive time saver.
Yeah.
And one of the main tools that is batch edited is the
Dynamic
tone
range.
curve. Is what I just taught you. So all we do is we go sync settings down here. And usually on all of yours, it's going to look like that when you open it up. This is all the things that you could possibly copy from photo number one, Karen's photo, and put it across everyone else's photo. And as you can see, there's loads of things you can do here.
We don't want to do that.
We don't want to
Yeah.
do any of this. Nope. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit check none.
Right.
And then all we have to do is find curve here. Don't worry about the difference between parametric and point just for the time being. And we just click curve. Don't want to copy anything else across.
And synchronize.
And then we're going to hit synchronize.
Perfect.
Just before I hit synchronize, I'll show you again. You highlight the first, so you make the change. Here's the tone curve. You can see it on this one. You hit G to come back to your grid. You Command A, select everything. You go sync settings, check none, pick curve, and then synchronize.
What is that curve called?
It's a good question. The overall name for it, I'd like you to call it the tone curve.
Tone curve. Okay,
It's
because that's
different,
what it is at the bottom of that too, that tone curve. Okay.
There's different versions of it, which is what it's talking about here. But you'll actually see if I go back to the actual tool, Lightroom still calls it the tone curve. So like, yeah, you see up here,
Yeah.
it says tone curve. It's
Mhm.
called the tone curve. There's just different versions of it you can do. We're just starting at the beginning. So you go uncheck, curve, synchronize. Takes a second. Now, every single photo that we're going to look at has the curve on it. Saves me having to put it on it. You may have to adjust it slightly from photo to photo, but it's a huge time saver. Imagine you went to a party, you went to the zoo and you took 100 pictures at the zoo, you went out onto the Bixby Bridge and you took 100 pictures. You could do the curve on the first one, and in milliseconds, it will copy it across to the other 99. Whereas doing that manually would take you an hour and just be annoying. It's a big time saver. Remember, Lightroom is really designed for speed, efficiency, and creativity. I'm showing you here a tool that helps both with the creativity and it's quick and speed. Okay, so look at the difference in this photo. Look at the difference in this photo. It's just brought out that dynamic range. This works great when there's intentional camera. It works great, to be honest, just on an overcast day. Because on an overcast day, it works great when you shoot inside. Any time where we don't have like a really strong bright sun and a big bright blue sky and like mustard in the fields and vines on the vineyards and everything really bright, sometimes you want it to, but most of the time the photo can look muted. And we don't want it to look so muted. And really true, even for Iris's black and white. I don't know if you can tell a difference there, but look how attention is drawn more to the glasses. Because on a black and white really stands on the strength of its lighting and its composition. Because the color can be distracting. It can kind of cover up the fact that the photo may be bad. But when we turn it black and white, again, we want this big kind of range from darks to lights. The tone curve helps us achieve that, and that creates a more dynamic black and white image. Okay, so that's the tone curve. Anyone got any questions on that? Okay, good. So that's something I'm going to want you to practice. Just have a play with it, but it's going to help. But to come back, just to finish off on Karen's picture, the reason we came down that route, or route as you guys would say, is to help bring more dynamic range, more color, more contrast, more clarity to the scene. But nice job on the intentional. Karen, I'd probably crop this one anyway to not have quite so much sky.
Yeah.
I just think the gray sky, like you don't need all of that gray sky that you had. You could even kind of start being creative and try flipping it around. Maybe.
But all of this, Adam, you're doing on your Lightroom Classic.
I'm on my computer at the moment. Yeah. You're looking at my computer.
All this is limited on your phone.
I don't want you to do, at the moment, I don't want you to do any editing on your phone. There's no reason to, because the way we're going to set it up in a minute is we're going to have it that every photo you take, Cass, is going to automatically come here. So
Okay, good.
there's
Awesome.
zero reason to have to do the editing on the editing on your phone has maybe 10% of what you can do on the computer.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Because
So it's fine for like a quick crop and stuff, but I really like this actually kind of this way. It looks much more abstract. Can't really tell what it is.
oh, it's her patio, but she's maybe dancing upside down or
There you
something.
go.
yeah. I also kind of see an animal's like head down at the bottom there. Yeah.
Happens.
So that's the advantage. That's why people like intentional camera movement. Anyway, anyone got any questions on the tone curve? Cool. So let's carry on. Thinking about depth of field. So
Nice.
here's another one of Karen's. Again, really successful shallow depth of field. Julie, where does your eye go in this picture?
I think I'm going to the red.
What about where's your eye
Nope.
going? You're on mute.
Who?
Still on mute. Let's ask Iris while she's taking herself off mute. Red, where's your eye go? To the plant or the red?
Actually, to the plant, right
Yeah.
the center.
I think this is 50-50. I think if I polled you guys, it would be 50-50 about, and it's interesting. I don't know if you did this on purpose, Karen, but the red and the green are complementary colors, so they play off of each other very nicely. They sit on opposite ends of the color wheel. You can actually see this down here. So look, red is like over here, down here, green is over here. They're on opposite ends of the wheel. You see red and green used a lot in like if ever you watch any of the David Attenborough, like Planet Earth's, the nature documentaries, they often add green and yellow on top of what they filmed to make the animal look more three-dimensional. It's really interesting. That's a whole other technique called color grading, which is here. But the interesting thing is my eye actually went to the plant at the beginning, but
Yeah.
then I got a bit distracted by the red. The other thing that I think that is tricky here, and this is a perfect example to show it, is depth of field is all to do with what's in focus from front to back. This leaf, what do you think? Is this leaf sticking out towards the camera or is it going away from the camera?
Away. Or
Nope.
it's blurry. Regardless, it's blurry. It's hard to know if you're not there, kind of, because
Yeah, but
that one on the far right could be the closest one to us. I don't know.
well, what's happened here
Oh yeah,
is
that's
if let me just draw a little diagram here. So here's the flower. This is a great here's the flower. Let's just imagine here's the flower and it has like loads of bits coming off it. Okay. Karen has used a very shallow depth of field and set it like right here, right in the middle of the flower. I.e., everything inside my pink lines is sharp. That's to say, everything that is a certain distance away from the camera, let's just make it up, 3 feet. Everything that's exactly 3 feet is sharp. Everything that probably is 3.1 feet is also sharp, and everything that's 2.9 feet is also sharp. But anything closer or further away than that has become blurred. And that leaf at the front there, that is sticking out. Sticking out, it's close. I often say to people, when you take a still life or a picture of a flower or anything, if you can, like, imagine you guys are taking a picture of me, right? It's hard for you to tell, like, what's in front of what. Like, is the pen in front of my nose? Is my hand behind my nose? Is it in front of my ear? The minute you move around and you go to the side, imagine you're taking a picture from over here, you can clearly see, like, what's at the front and what's at the back and what's in between, right? And my nose, my glasses, my ears, my hand back here. It's not so hard to it's much harder to see when you're like this, when you're looking straight on. So I often say to people, walk around your like frame before you take the picture to help you appreciate the three-dimensionality of the whole thing. And what's happened here, which I think, Karen, you could have improved a little bit, is I think having that one at the front blurred looks a bit like a mistake. It looks like it's out of focus and it takes our eye here, but generally, not always, it's not a hard rule, but most of the time we want kind of this, and I would say like all of this, like this and this and this to be sharp, And then the focus kind of slowly falling off as we get further away. It's just where you've placed your square. That's it. I would just have placed your square a little bit further to the front of the frame.
Mhm.
And what Cass was talking about is a thing that throws a lot of people. People are like, well, why is this in focus? And why is this in focus? And why is, I don't know, this sharp? But like this guy's blurry and this guy's blurry and this guy's blurry. And it's because this, and this, even though they're like going from left to right on the frame, they're all basically the same distance away from the camera.
Mhm.
That's the key.
Yeah.
If we turned and we looked at this from the side, you'd see bits sticking out and bits further back. But everything that's in line with each other will be sharp. And that's
But
something. Sorry, Iris, go on.
what would have happened if Karen would have moved further away? Would the front one then be in focus?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would have been one way around it.
Okay.
So if she wanted more of the plant in focus, let's say the whole plant, she would have had to take maybe half a step back. Very small, because you're dealing with very small distances here. But everything else about this, the position of the plant, the like juxtaposition with the red painting, I really like. I just want you to appreciate A, why this has happened, and B, unless sometimes we do, imagine there was like a colorful bud in here. This flower had like a colorful bloom. Well, then sometimes we'll do a close-up of this flower and we'll kind of go like this and we'll intentionally like blur everything in front of it. And then this will be a colorful bloom. Like I'm just imagining there was like a colorful bloom back there. That makes sense because this is acting as a frame. But I think when we're looking at the whole picture in its entirety like this looks a little bit like, and this is a really common mistake I see people happen when they start playing with shallow depths of field. That makes sense to everyone. But it's a good photo, really well done. And just want to watch out for that blurry bit at the front.
Makes sense.
Increase the depth of field. And did you, Karen, did you put the painting and the plant next to each other intentionally thinking that they were the same like color palette? Was it?
I really like the contrast.
Yeah, the contrast is great. It's really good. It's really, really nice. Also, watch out for your plug behind the vase. You see your plug behind the vase?
No,
Look, there's a socket back here.
there's a socket. Yeah, I thought I was.
That's what I mean by plug. Sorry, that's my English. So,
Okay.
so again, that's like moving half an inch to your left, hides it behind the plant. So just watch out for those distracting things behind your main subject.
Okay, just going back to that just real quickly. I did this intentionally because that is one of Incy's husband's art pieces of art. He's one of
cool.
Peter's
Oh, how
pieces.
nice.
I thought perhaps Incy would be part of our class, but anyway,
Cass, is Incy a
just
part?
for
Is
reference.
Incy signed up for this?
I don't know, but she could have just missed it. I haven't talked to her. I know she's been gone. No, she's not.
Okay, well, we can reach out to her and ask if she wants to join, but maybe you can, Karen, you can share that photo with her, and
I will.
she'll appreciate that. Okay, look at this one.
Oh,
Really
that's so cute.
So this is an interesting one when it comes. Which puppy is most in focus?
The second one from the bottom.
Yeah. So I think in this case,
that's my daughter's. So that's her puppy. So I was really focusing on her.
yeah, it's really cute. But in this case, like I think it makes sense. This is kind of the reason these are all as they go back, getting further away from the camera. Cass has placed the focus here with a relatively shallow depth of field, but here it works because kind of this isn't sticking out and blocking our view. It kind of naturally leads you through the blurry bit up to the sharp one, and then it looks very natural as we get back to the blurry one, especially to think about the rule of thirds. That is exactly basically a third up the frame, the second puppy, which is excellent. Again, like Cass, I think when you, there's lots of, I like that you didn't show the whole of the mum.
Yeah.
Like, I think that helps like really draw attention to the puppy, especially this puppy. You can see the face really clearly. You take this on your camera or your phone, Cass?
No, I just took it very quickly on my phone.
Good. Good. It's a really good shot. Well done for being able to achieve the shallow depth of field. Look at the bokeh you've got as we went further and further and further back. A tweeny bit overexposed. Don't worry about
Because I
that.
did, you know what? Because I sent it to you and I did it through my iPhone Lightroom. I took it with the Lightroom
Very good.
on. And of course, I did the exposure thing that you said you're not supposed to.
Okay, well,
Like, oh, great, he's gonna know now that I did it on that one.
we'll talk about that as a group in a minute.
That was just a quickie to get something to you
Yeah,
quickly.
no, it's great. So it's a great shot. Really, really nice. Look at this one.
Oh, I like that.
Mm.
Okay, what's the clue here, Elaine,
Ooh.
that a slow shutter speed was used?
It's on the dark side.
Nope. In fact, a slow shutter speed would make the picture brighter because you'd open up the curtains for a longer period. Kate, what do you think? Any
The
idea?
water, the movement in the water is blurred.
Yeah, that's the clue.
Ah.
So,
Mhm.
so look at the motion in the water. So this I know straight away without looking at anything that this was taken as a slow shutter speed image. Kind of like Karen's intentional camera movement picture, but this time the camera didn't move. So they didn't move. The only thing that moved was who took this?
I did, Karen.
Nice. So Karen's kept her camera still here. I like the position of the guy. The only thing I would say about this, the whole thing comes together very nicely, but be careful when you have a dog, a person, a sailboat facing in a certain direction like this. Generally, and this I don't know what was it, but we want to have room for them to breathe. We want to follow the direction that they're going into the frame. It would be really interesting for you to literally rotate yourself a little bit to the right here, clockwise, which meant that he would have gone over here.
Yes.
And then he would have been looking out into the ocean. I kind of feel like I'm competing here between following him or looking behind him back here. That sometimes can lead to an unbalanced composition. It's an easy fix, but just whenever it works a lot, people take pictures of birds that are flying, like they're all flying this way. Well, if they're all flying this way, you want to put them on the left of the frame. There's a sailboat coming in over here. Excuse my terrible drawings. There's a sailboat coming in over here. You want to put it on the right of the frame to give it room to breathe. You don't want to put it over here going out of the frame. So whichever way a subject faces, especially a person or an animal, hummingbird flying into the frame, if they're flying in from the left-hand side, you want to give them plenty of negative space to fly into. Plenty of room for the eye to follow. That makes sense. Other than that, though, this is like really, really good in terms of the water must have been moving pretty fast here. This must have been a pretty stormy day.
Was that Alan, Karen? Was that Alan?
No, I just thought it was interesting that I was trying to get him on the nodal point. I didn't think about maybe moving him to the left. No, yeah, it was just an artist out there on the rock.
And
It's good it wasn't Alan because it could have been a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, no. Rogue wave.
who's Alan?
Her
My
husband,
husband.
Oh, fine. Okay. I figured. Just checking.
her boyfriend, she's just taking lots of pictures of her boyfriend.
But yeah, so arguably having this person, like I can't really recreate it, but I'd love to have seen seascape drama off to the left. Sorry, off to the right, and the person of them. But nice job putting on the nodal point and a really well put together picture. Look at this one.
Ooh.
And this one's really good for shallow depth of field.
Isabella, I bet.
Is this yours, Isabella? I think it
No,
is.
it's not.
Oh, no, whose was this? It's got to be one of yours. Someone.
Maybe.
Maybe it's probably someone who's not here today. So I can't remember off the top of my head who it is without looking it up, but a really, really good job. And look how interesting this is. Look how this, and like this are blurry. But this is dead sharp, as is this. Because why are both of those, even though one's on the left and one on the right, why are those iris both sharp? The two things in my red circle.
Don't know.
Anyone want to help her out? Anyone got any ideas?
They're in the same plane.
Same distance.
Yeah, exactly, Elaine. Same plane, same distance away from the camera.
Mhm.
If we were talking numbers, these are both exactly 2 feet away. But in this case, because the depth of field is really shallow, anything that's like 2.1 feet or 1.9 feet is slightly blurred. It's just a very, 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 very skinny plane of focus.
So you changed that histogram. Did that change when you adjusted everything? Adam?
What are you talking about when I did the tone curve?
Yes.
The histogram at the top up here.
I know, but down below the tonal curve, did you?
Remember, I batched it across all of them.
Yeah, all of them. That's what I thought. Huh.
That was the before.
Okay.
That's the after. So that shows you the advantage of putting on a tone curve.
Wow.
Before, after.
Yeah.
All we've done to this photo, nothing else other than the tone curve. And I think it's a bit overdone on this. Oops. I think it's a bit overdone on this one. I think the yellow is a little bit too bright. I'd probably just take down the highlights a little bit just to get some of that detail back in there.
Yeah.
That is kind of an average dynamic range picture.
Mhm.
That's showing more dynamic range. And you can see that's what I meant when I said it makes the picture pop.
The clarity, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the clarity, like the three-dimensionality of it and making it feel, especially when you print this, you really notice a difference. But the tone curve, once you learn it, is so easy, but it probably has the biggest impact on your pictures of any editing tool I can teach you.
Mhm.
Because this, and that's, I mean, people go out and buy better cameras. Every time a new iPhone comes out and they go from 16 to 17, and when they go from 17 to 18, they'll be trying to sell you on the fact it has a greater dynamic range. It sees more light. The beauty is we can do it with the tone curve, whether you've got an iPhone 13 or an iPhone 17, it doesn't really make a difference.
Perfect.
So you're not limited. I hate people to be limited by the equipment. So this kind of democratizes that, which is really helpful. So I put this one and then this one together.
Pretty.
Oh, nice.
Again, look at the depth of field here is great. I think this one's taken by the same person. I don't think you're here today, but shout out if this is yours. The only thing I would say with this one is the butterfly looks a little bit over sharpened.
Mhm.
How do I know that? Well, when I zoom in and I look on the butterfly, this butterfly, no way in real life had all these tiny, tiny, tiny little black dots all over it. The tiny black dots is a telltale sign of someone trying to sharpen a subject too much.
Mhm.
Like squeezing a lemon and squeezing a lemon and squeezing a lemon, and then eventually there's no lemon left to squeeze, and you're just squeezing it, but nothing's coming out. This is what happens when you over sharpen. There's actually a tool that I think this person has used, which is in either Photoshop or here, but essentially they've brushed on the. I'll use a different color. They've created a mask, and I'm going, don't worry about this if you don't know how to do it, but most of you kind of know how to do this or know how to do this. They've made a mask on here because they've been like, oh my God, the butterfly is the thing that I have to get sharp in this picture. It's the subject. And then they've just gone to town with the sharpness.
I didn't even know you can do that.
Yeah.
But it is true, it looks artificial, kind of, right? I mean,
it looks totally
overdo it.
artificial.
It looks
like
so artificial. Yeah.
it looks like we've stuck it on there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look part of the photo. Look at the light, even the lighting on it is way off.
I wonder if they did use a app. They must have.
100%, I can tell you. I would bet my mortgage that has been sharpened, probably on the computer, but it's been over sharpened.
Mhm.
So watch again. We haven't really gone deep into the tool of sharpening. We will do in one of these 4 classes, not today. But just make a note that if you over sharpen something, you tend to cause degradation.
Yeah.
Karen, you're trying to test me by continually sending me photos. You just sent me interior. I'd already got that one. The video I'd seen of his house.
Okay.
I got it. Thank you, though. No, you were trying to test me by getting me to try to look because I'm watching for your email come through and it just came through. Okay, good. So this is great, really good. Just the butterflies. is over sharpened, and it's just caused this degradation. Bokeh, shallow depth of field, excellent. Let's look at these two that Isabella took. Really well done by Isabella of using the portrait mode. This is exactly one of the tasks that I wanted you to do. As a reminder, when you use the portrait mode on the iPhone, you have the ability to be able to change the style of the light. One is called key light mono, one is called key light black. Isabella has taken these pictures, and this is exactly how it's come out her iPhone. She hasn't put the white background around the kid or the black background around the kid. The Apple phone is smart enough to know where's the subject. Let's get the subject nice and smart. It's kind of interesting actually on this one because the bowl is so light. It's interesting in kind of how it just veers away into the background. But these, they're on almost looking like they've been photographed in a studio, which is great because essentially what's happening is we are via digital means, via the computer and the iPhone, making the light stronger from where it's coming from. And then essentially Apple is cutting out the kid and it's placing this black or white background around them with a very soft vignette.
Almost like a sticker that they're almost making a
Yeah,
sticker.
yeah, they do almost like stickers.
Because I feel like Sydney on the right, her left cheek, they've kind of gone, cut into a little bit. I don't know.
A little bit. It's not perfect. And like you can see around the hair.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but I'll show you actually what inspired this whole technique. There's a photographer, I'll just very briefly show you, but it's good for you guys to know. So there's a photographer, he's actually English, but Greek originally. He now is based in New York. Can you see my internet?
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy's called Platon. Okay, he's a very famous portrait photographer. Oh, let's go on his website. Hold on. And he is known for creating. Let's just go.
Wow.
He does this very, look how it's all on the black and white. Like, look at his picture of Trump. It's basically the same thing. Look at his picture of Obama. He's doing it in a studio. A lot of lights. But we can create very similar shots just by using portrait mode. He's very interesting because he kind of breaks all the rules and he tends to photograph people from angles you shouldn't normally. So that's Obama from really low. Look how massive his arm and his hand looks, and look how small his head looks. That's intentional. It's like part of this guy's signature style is he gets right down. Obviously, he takes pictures sometimes lying on the floor, looking up at people. And it creates these long, interesting lines. But you can see how it has the black and white dichotomy, almost identical to what Isabella did on her iPhone. And this guy, Platon, he's like a who's who of like, I mean, you name the politician, actor, he's photographed them. Look at this one of Serena Williams. Look how long the arm looks. But it's very graphical, like we just, it's very, very graphical, and it's very intense in terms of the style and the lighting. It's all it's called high key lighting. It's like very, very strong on the subject and then a white or a black background. And if you get close, obviously you can only get between 4 to 6 feet, but you can always crop in. This works really well. Like if you wanted to take a picture of your dog, for example, Julie, this is a fun technique to practice. Because if you've got a really cluttered, busy living room, it will cut it all out and it'll put your dog on a white or a black background. So look at this photographer, look at him, Platon. He's really, really well known. I use him tons of times when I teach portrait photography, but I'm showing him to you here because see how it's the same style, so to speak.
Is that going into where it was on that wheel that showed regular light, and then you wheeled it down to the very right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I did that with Tula while we were here talking, and all of a sudden everything disappeared but just her little face.
Yeah, there we go.
What happened?
And you got to make sure she's a certain distance from the camera again.
Yes.
If
Yeah.
you're too
But it was
close,
just
won't
like her
work.
little face was just all highlighted, but nothing else.
Yeah.
Hey, where'd you go?
And what's really cool is if you left click and hold on the subject, Tula's face,
Yeah.
these cute kids, like my face, a horse, it doesn't matter. You're telling portrait mode, put that in focus and turn everything else either bright white or dark black. So it's important you do the tap to
Yeah,
focus.
I did. And it was like magic. Everything else went away, but her little
Yeah.
face.
Quite fun.
Yeah, Isabella, how old are these kids?
She's the same, and
That's the
she's
thing.
5.
5, yeah. Okay, so you didn't, because I was thinking if I tried to do this with my 2-year-old, it would be impossible. But
No, and we were on holiday together, and I just told her to sit down. And
yeah, very nice. And what's interesting even is like you can see if you look really closely, this is not a bad thing, but you can see the movement of her hand, right? Yeah, her hand
yeah,
is sharp, but we don't really care about that. The thing we care about is her cute face and how it's shone, it's artificially created more light on her face than was there to begin with, which is one of the key. It's making it look like a Platon portrait. And what you could have done on any of these, Isabella, is if you wanted to, you could have always come in and cropped on these, like, and just got rid of some of the dark stuff,
yes,
for example.
Oh, yeah.
of
And you can
course.
see how that basically
Yeah.
looks like it was taken in a studio with a black backdrop.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, Isabella, good job.
I will send it to my daughter.
Yeah, and again, I'd crop in on this one. I'd kind of crop into her, like go nice and tight. You don't need to like that. It's great. You can see it kind of struggles a little bit with the hair. It's getting better, like with hair as well, because it's kind of soft. You can see like right here, it's like gone a bit funky.
Yeah, that's
But
what I
it's
thought.
but it's considering it comes straight out of your iPhone, it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And do you know what? As well as doing with this people, this is a great technique to practice on flowers, for example.
Mhm.
You have a flower sitting in a vase, or you have something in your backyard that you want to photograph, you can straight away make it real. There's a whole technique
Oh, I did one somewhere. Yeah.
called lay flat photography, which is like people get a light box and they put the flower on the light box and they have to do a big setup, and it works, but it takes a lot of time and it takes quite a lot of expertise and knowledge. And this has made it a lot easier. So really, really, really good job on both of those, Isabella. Nice job. Let's look at in fact, actually, while we're here, I'm going to look at all because Isabella actually did a few of these, so I'm going to put them all next to you.
Oh God, driving you mad. Yeah, I'm playing.
So look, so that could be Tula, Julia.
Yeah.
But you can see how they kind of look like that. This is especially if you crop this, they look like they're coming out
They're little heron dogs.
They look like they're coming out. They look like they're coming out the abyss.
Hmm.
But it's creative. And
Cute, Isabella.
And you can see the sharpest part here is the heart on the camera right nose.
Yeah.
That's the sharpest part. The depth of field is very, very shallow. Really good. Look at this one. So it's a really good use to practice it. Light coming from behind, just simply sunlight shining through a glass of water. But putting that background behind it straight away adds a level of creativity, artistry, and kind of takes it from a picture like this to a picture like this. Especially because Isabella, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing back here was pretty white because that's where the lights come.
Absolutely, it was a messy table. Yeah.
So it's a messy table and there's stuff. So this helps completely take away any distracting elements behind our subject, which could be a messy table. It could be the socket in Karen's picture of a plant. And it helps to draw attention right to the subject. So it's called portrait mode, but it almost could be called like things mode.
Yeah.
As in it could be a bottle of water, a plant, a dog. Like it's anything that you're taking a picture of, one thing that you want to very clearly stand out from the subject, either through the use of shallow depth of field, which this still has. Look at the depth of field, like it's really shallow. All of this is blurry until we get right up to the water glass, which is sharp. But then adding those little light tricks that I taught you last time, and you can go back and look at the last recording if you can't remember how to do it, can help you put this black and white on it. This one's good, Isabella, but I wish the focus was on the face.
I know. Well, I kept trying and it didn't.
Yeah, it's hard. I think you need to probably move round a little bit, as in take a
I
step
did, but
on
I
it.
moved. I took about 50, but I was getting fed up of it by then.
Yeah, it's also this, how big is this sculpt? How big is this? It looks quite small.
Oh, like 2 inches. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it finds it. So it's because it's so small. So the smaller things get, especially with an iPhone, the harder it finds it to set the depth of field in the correct place. Because you're talking about setting the depth of field 1.8 inches or 1.9 inches, like maybe 0.1 of an inch distance between the head and the back. And it
Yeah.
tends to
I
like,
couldn't get that. Yeah.
yeah, it tends to like, I'm not surprised you couldn't get it because the iPhone tends to like the brightest thing because it finds it the easiest to focus on, the brightest, shiniest thing.
Adam, I just want to tell you, my children think I've gone mad.
Why?
We were in Venice and I'm shaking my camera around and they
Oh,
actually said, Mom, is everything all right? I went, yeah, they don't drop it.
did you get some good
But
gondola?
I
And
was trying to get some wiggly photos and I think
good.
they said
Did you get
mad.
any good gondola canal pictures
Some
with
that's so weird.
Cool. Yeah, you'll have to send us some for us to look at next time. Yeah, you can look a bit like a crazy person when you're taking around a bit, but
Yeah.
it's worth it. So nice job. Let's take it. Hopefully no one's squeamish. Look at this.
Ooh.
What is that?
I think it's a spider. It looks like a tarantula.
Tarantula, it looks like.
Oh my gosh.
So this is the same person who took the butterfly. And again, I can see that we've fallen prey a little bit to over sharpening. But again, look how interesting. Let me see if I can brighten up this guy. I hate spiders. This is not photo. It's not for me.
Oh, wow.
But there we go. Okay. Look at how this leg
Wow.
is totally blurry, but the head, or actually the sharpest part, is here. This is exactly the issue like Isabella you had when we haven't really got onto a group as macro photography. Photographing very small things is hard, especially on an iPhone. And it takes time and skill and effort to try to get your depth of field in the right place. It's especially hard to do when something is moving. And I'm guessing this, I mean, it looks almost like it's coming out of a cocoon, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Like that. It's a really good picture. Whoever took it, well done. Like, well done for getting this close. They're pretty close
Yeah.
to the spider.
Ooh.
At this.
Creepy.
They've positioned it nicely on the bottom right nodal point. But just again, please, whoever took this, watch out for over sharpening. This is getting a little bit into the territory where the bit of the spider that is sharp is so sharp that it almost looks a bit fake. I've overdone it there. But yeah, amazing detail. Let me see if this is taken on an iPhone. Let's see. This was taken on an iPhone 17, yeah. It's pretty amazing
Wow.
that you can get that level of detail. That's what I mean in terms of like 5 years ago. I would even say 3 years ago, before the software out, this was impossible. You could not take a picture like this on an iPhone. Impossible. The amount of instances now where you would have to justify having your big camera is less than it was 5 years ago. This is a good one of Iris. Good self. Iris, have you ever heard of the photographer Vivian Maya?
Nope.
Okay. So
Wow.
there's a great Netflix documentary, for those of you who've got Netflix, called Finding Vivian Maya. Hands up, who's heard of Vivian Maya? Okay, Kate's heard of her. So Vivian Maya is this really, really famous American street photographer from like 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Here she is, probably most famous for taking pictures of herself in reflective surfaces.
Oh.
But the interesting thing with Vivian Maya is Vivian Maya was actually a nanny. So she was a nanny for a very wealthy family in New York and then Chicago. In her spare time, she went out and just like documented life on the streets. Good light, good color, lots of the civil rights stuff that was happening in the 60s. Just went out almost every day and took pictures. Completely anonymous.
Love it.
She passed away and someone bought the house that she was a nanny in, and they went up to the attic and they found like 300,000, maybe over exaggerating, 200,000 or 300,000 slides.
Wow.
All in
Wow.
boxes. And the person ended up developing them or developing a few, and they were like, these are quite good. They took them to a photography like collector, and they were like, you should develop some more. And they developed some more. And cut a very long story short, they started piecing together the story of this lady's life, Vivian Maier, who has now become arguably one of the top 5 street photographers in history.
Wow.
He's in every big museum globally. It's a really good Netflix document. It's kind of a docu, like it's fictional stroke non-fictional, but like it's a dramatization of Vivian Maier. It's called Finding Vivian Maier. Very good. I'd highly recommend it. But the reason I thought about her just now is she takes loads and loads of pictures of herself. Like, look how interesting that looks. Like with like that, so that's Vivian Maier taking the picture.
My goodness.
Here's Vivian Maier taking the picture. And this kind of became one of her things that she, there was a big art gallery in London, big gallery, did a massive National Portrait Gallery, did a huge thing just on Vivian Maier. But the sad thing is she never knew about how famous she'd become.
What camera did she use?
So she used a brownie, primarily a brownie camera. Yeah, and another, and a Kodachrome. Watch the documentary, it's excellent. It's really good. It's an amazing story.
Oh, good.
But you can see, look, kind of like Iris, how Iris found like an interesting angle,
Yes.
frame within a frame with a shallow depth of field, like attention clearly goes onto Iris and the phone here. The concept is the same. Like if we turned it black and white, it would look like a Vivian Maier, especially if I kind of made it less obvious and maybe took out your Alexa down there and did something like that. There's lots to look at, but the only thing that is sharp in that picture is Iris and her phone. And again, look at it. If we emphasize this and we put a tone curve on it, look how Iris will stand out more. So that's before. Oh, let me actually just do a normal black and white. Hold on. Okay, so that's a normal flat black and white. Look at the difference. That's just the tone curve. That's the only difference I've made between the left and the right.
Oh,
Wow, much sharper.
Yeah.
It looks sharper. It's almost an optical illusion, but it's just more dynamic range, which makes it appear like there's more clarity. So really good, very, very, very nice shot, Iris.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Karen's shot of look at the ghost on the beach. Slow shutter speed. You can see it again in the water. You can see it in the movement of the trees. I think in this picture, Karen, the lines and the patterns in the sand are so interesting. I almost would have waited for those people to move because there's a lot to look at here. I feel like I'm drawn between this, 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 and this. And I feel like arguably the subject is these like crazy swirls that someone spent time drawing in the sand. You can hardly see these people, but they're there.
It's one person.
It's one person, yeah. So it's one person who's just moved.
Well, she was doing the work. That's
Oh, it's the person who's drawing that. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. That's more of a story behind it. So this artist like drawing these weird things, like amazing job actually. It looks really good. But it also would have been interesting to take this same picture not with a slow shutter speed and see which would you prefer. I find this maybe a little bit distracting, especially this one here. Remember, watch out for the edges. This one is a bit more intentional, but like this one and this one, watch out for your edges of the frame for just like one tree limb hanging in or one person's arm, because that sometimes can become distracting. But generally, everyone, really, really good job on the theme. Anyone got any questions? Okay. Right, now comes the fun stuff. Not that that wasn't fun. This is going to really open up some potential for you guys. Let's lift up your iPhones.
What?
iPhones, your phone. Yeah. And then I want you to open the Lightroom app. In fact, actually, before I want you to open the Lightroom app, I want you to go to the settings on your camera, please. Sorry, not in the camera, just your settings on your phone, the normal settings. Bob. And I want you to scroll down to the bottom, all the way to the bottom to where it says apps.
Mm.
And then I want you to scroll down to Lightroom.
Wait.
Oh, say that. Oh, you want us to go to settings?
So
Okay.
settings, normal settings, and then all the way down to the bottom.
Apps. Okay.
Okay. And then all the way down to L for Lightroom. And click on Lightroom.
Okay.
Okay. Now, for some of you, you're going to see everything I say. For some of you, you're not going to see it. Don't worry if you haven't seen it. It's just you don't use it again. But I'm just going to save us coming back here twice. You should all probably see location at the top. Change that if it's not on it to while using. This stuff, we're going to set it and we're never going to come back here again. I just need it set up properly because otherwise it's not going to talk to your computer. So while using the app,
I don't have it. No, my phone is old.
don't worry. You also don't have it because you haven't opened up the Lightroom app yet, Isabella. So don't worry. If I say anything else and you don't, but you haven't used it yet. As in you just signed it. You just signed in. You haven't properly used it. So if I'm gonna give you the laundry list here. If you don't see it on your phone, don't worry. I'm just covering it so that for some people they cover it. There's only like 5 things. The next one for some of you, it should say photos.
Yeah.
And I want you to click on it and make sure limited access is on.
Okay.
Go nice and slow, making sure we're all keeping up with each other. Okay. Next one, some of you may see a camera icon. You may not, but if you see it, make sure that it's turned on green. If you don't see it, don't worry.
Okay.
Next one is going to say Apple Intelligence and Siri for some of you.
Siri.
If you've got it, I want you to click on it. And I want you to make sure everything in that menu is turned on. Green. Yeah, hey, Elaine.
So I went back after limited access on photos. What was the next?
Camera, which you may or may not have, don't worry. And then the next one probably says Siri or Apple Intelligence.
Okay.
I want you to click on that and just make sure everything's turned on. Okay, and then come back from that. Go to, if you've got it, the next one down may say search. Again, I want you to click on it and make sure everything's turned on. Come back again. So ignore if it says notifications, just skip over that one. We don't need to touch that. And then you'll have 2 more. Some of you, not all of you, don't worry if you don't. Background app refresh and cellular data. I want them both turned on, please.
Yeah.
They should be turned on, but we have to check. Okay, now we're going to come out of settings and we're going to come into your Lightroom app. And I've made myself big here so I can do this with you and you can see me. So open it up. Hopefully you're all signed in. It doesn't ask you for your email and password. You should all be signed in. And down at the very, very bottom, you're going to see there's 3 icons you can hit. Device, Lightroom, and Community. I want you to hit the middle one, Lightroom.
Wait, the middle one says edits.
Yeah.
No, you're in the wrong place.
I'm not. I've got device, edits, community.
Oh.
Me too.
Have you got a little Lightroom square up here?
Yeah.
Could be. You just okay, click on the Lightroom square. Okay, in fact, everyone click on the Lightroom square while we're here.
Right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th one down on my phone, maybe different on yours, says cloud storage and sync.
I have local storage.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, click on it. Okay. Now, some of you, again, it's going to be different on some of your phones, but I want you to click on that, and then you'll see like a progress bar. Ignore that. The second heading down should say use cellular for sync. Isabella, what does it say on yours?
Where is it, Adam?
The second one down says cached files, CACHED files. 0.
Okay, I think you go back, Isabella, on the top left. Rather than click on local storage, look at Mike. Tell me if you guys have got this. Look at cloud storage and sync. It's a cloud.
No.
No.
Where is Adam? Where is it? On what
I don't
day?
have,
So you're in the normal Lightroom. You're like in the thing, and then all you have to do is click on the square.
Yeah, mine. Okay.
And then you get a whole list of things that you can do.
Cloud storage sync.
Okay, so hold on. I'm just going to do, for those of you who have cloud storage and sync, I want you to click on it. I know some of you don't have it, so just stick with me. For those of you that have it, click on it. And then I want you to make sure that use cellular for sync is on. Should be blue. Then underneath it, I want you to make sure that only download reduced resolution is off. Probably on by default. I want you to turn it on. Off, not blue.
just,
Download originals when using AI tools, off. Don't worry if you don't have it. This is fine. Like Julie, you're shaking your head if you can't.
yeah, I don't,
It's fine. It's
I
fine.
don't.
It's just depending on. Honestly, it just depends on your iPhone. That's why
Okay.
some of you have it and some of you don't. But ultimately, we're all going to get to the same place in a minute. Prevent from sleep. Those of you that see it down at the bottom here,
Yeah.
make sure it's on, please.
So only 2 are on then.
Yeah, only 2 are on. You got it. And then we're going to come back to here. And then Isabella and those with a slightly older iPhone should have this. The one that says local storage, I want you to click on.
Yeah.
And you probably see somewhere there it says cache size limit.
Cache files.
Yeah, yours says cache files. I bet Cass's says cache size limit.
Yeah.
Okay. What number have you got on yours, Isabella?
0 KB.
Okay, what happens if you click on it?
Nothing. You
Okay, have you
can't
got the
click.
option of this drop down menu? You may not have it on your phone.
No.
Okay, then don't worry. But for those of you who have it, again, this is not a big deal. It's just, I want you to change this. I want you to click on it and I want you to change it from 10 to 25.
25?
Yes, it will say default 25 GB.
Wow. Really?
Absolutely. This just means how quickly the photos can transfer from your phone to your computer. Okay. You sound surprised, Cass. What?
I'm sorry, because it says storage, not actual photos. I was thinking you were gonna. Okay, sorry.
No. It's just how quickly things transfer. Okay, we're gonna hit the X. We're gonna come back. I want you to get back to like a main menu. Now, some of you will have pictures. Some of you will have no pictures. Some of you will have blank squares. Don't worry. But down at the bottom, and it should say at the top here, all photos. Down at the bottom, don't worry if it's not exactly the same as mine, but for those of you who have device, Lightroom, and community, I want you to hit on Lightroom. By the
could
way,
it be
Isabella,
edits?
say
Could it
again.
be edits?
Say again, please.
Because
Like-
edits, I have device, edits, and community at the bottom.
So do I.
Do device, please.
And it just has all my photos.
That's fine. Okay.
Nothing's happening.
Make device go blue, Isabella.
Blue device is blue.
Okay, that's fine. Now,
It's not doing anything.
I know. I don't want it to do anything at the moment. We're doing one step at a time. Don't worry. We're going nice and slowly from. Okay, I've kind of got to do 2 because we've got 2 different like sets of you here. For the set who it says Lightroom, so you've got Lightroom, you should just be able to drag your finger up and down and you should see a blue camera appear. And I want you to click on the camera. And that's going to open up a camera. Okay? Look, the camera is taking a picture of me. Okay? For Isabella and Julie, I think it was, when you're on device, do you see in the bottom right-hand corner anywhere anything that looks like that? You may have to like scroll up and scroll down. Sometimes it like hides and then like you see it hid there. And then when I pushed it, it came back like it hidden.
Not pressing anything. It just, you can't press the device thing. It's not,
No, you've already pressed it. You're selected it. You're on it.
I can't see anything.
Turn around your phone. Let me have a look. Click on Try edit. Just click on edit to me and let me have a look.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So for Julie and Isabella, we're clicking on edit. For everyone else, we're clicking on Lightroom, and then we're clicking on the camera. So I want us all to get to the group, a stage where we can see as if we're going to take a picture.
Okay, allow once, allow while using app, don't
Allow while using app.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Everyone at the point where you can see your grid?
Yep.
Mhm.
I don't have a grid. I have a
I have
screen.
a grid.
Well, don't worry if you haven't got the grid, as in
Okay.
it looks like you're going to take a picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this is for Isabella and Julie, it's going to be slightly different than for everyone else. So just stick with me. But for most of you at the very top, hard to see but you should see the words DNG.
I have it.
That means digital negative. If you touch on it, it's going to give you the ability to be able to switch between a DNG and a JPG, a JPEG, which we don't want to do. We want to make sure every time we use this that we are taking DNG. That is just a digital version of a raw file. That was step number 1 at the beginning when I said why we want to use this. It's always going to be on DNG. Make a mental check when you open the Lightroom app. Sometimes it switches back. Okay. Step number 2 is down at the bottom. I'll actually put it how most of you are going to see it. To the right of the button to take a picture,
Mhm.
we're going to see a picture of what looks like a lens.
Yeah.
With a letter next to it. Again, Isabella and Julie, it's going to be slightly different for yours, but I want you to each just tap on that lens, and you're going to see it's going to cycle between W, for some of you, UW, and then T.
Mhm.
You just tap on that. You tap on this picture.
Wait, can you repeat that, please? I lost you.
Of course. So here's the pic. Look at me, everyone. I know
Yeah.
it's a bit blurry too soon, but hopefully. So just to the right there's like a picture. It's like a camera lens.
Yeah.
And I want you to tap on it. And when you tap on it, you should feel like a little vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And you should see the letter next to the lens change. And
It's W now.
Yeah. And then tap it again.
UW.
Yeah. And then tap it again.
W.
That's it. We're all on the same page.
Okay.
No,
So
I don't.
W ultra wide, is that what?
Yeah. And actually, if you look at the top, hold on, guys, 1 sec, just watch me. If you look at the top when you press this, see the lens changing, wide angle, ultra wide. This is literally like taking off a lens and putting on a lens on your traditional cameras.
Wow.
It's the first time that any app has properly harnessed the power of your 3 or your 2 iPhone lenses without losing any quality. So for example, if we wanted to create a shallow depth of field picture, we could choose the telephoto lens and then go out and take our picture. If we were doing landscape, we could use hold on, Isabella, 1 sec. We could use the UW, the ultra wide angle, and see a lot more. So this is really exciting because it lets us play with the lenses without necessarily losing any quality.
Does the 17 have another lens or not?
No, it just has better lenses. The 3 that it has are better than the 16, and the 16's 3 are better than the 15. It's just that the lenses, there's no iPhone has more than 3 lenses on it. Just the telephoto on the 17 is just more zoomed in than the telephoto on the 16, Isabella.
I don't have a telephoto.
Yeah, and that makes sense because look at your back of your one compared to mine. I've got 3, you've got 2. So that's just the limitation of the iPhone. But it doesn't matter. Okay? So we're going to use that. But here's where the real secret sauce is. On the left of the button to take the picture, it says auto for most of you. I want you to press on that and I want you to hit professional.
Oh, gold.
We're not going to cover all of this today, don't worry.
So exciting.
But just doing that, we're basically going to start unlocking, making your camera more like a digital mirrorless or digital SLR camera, making your iPhone. Okay, we're going to cover we'll cover three, actually, maybe we'll have time to cover three. So that's going to give you a whole load of things that you can click on that suddenly popped up that weren't there a minute ago. I'm going to go through them one at a time. Okay. The one all the way to the left.
Wait, could I ask one quick question in case you don't get to it, Adam? With that community thing, I want to make sure that I have privacy with that. Can we set a privacy thing or not?
Sorry, privacy with what? What do you, sorry?
Community, there's a community at the bottom and then
it's unless you give it full access, no one can see your photos. Like when you put limit access, no, it's not like everyone who's using Adobe has access to it. No, it's as private as any photo you've ever taken on your iPhone that just goes into Cass's Apple Photos. Yeah. So the only reason that would ever be compromised is if for some reason your computer got a virus or something and someone hacked into your computer, but hopefully that doesn't happen. But no, this is built in.
All right.
So
Just
Cass can just see hers, I can just see mine, Isabella's can just see hers. There's no crossover. Good question though. Okay, so the first one says EXP. That stands, write it down, for exposure compensation.
I'm sorry, on the far left.
The far left, it says EXP.
That stands for what?
Exposure compensation. Don't pull a face like that. It's not that common. We'll figure it out. So I'll write it down. I'm gonna do this with you guys. So,
I don't like science.
it's all right. Yeah, it's funny because it's like photography can be really left brain, it can be really right brain, and it can be somewhere in between. So exposure compensation. This is really easy. You don't have to be mathematical to understand this. So digital photography is generally made up of the interaction of these three things called aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. I'm not going to go too into them today. You've heard me talk about them in the past on other classes. Often we will fix the aperture, the shutter speed, or ISO to get the picture that we want, but the picture will still be too bright or too dark. If we go out on a really bright sunny day, sometimes the picture is going to be too bright. If we're photographing inside a restaurant, it may be that our photos are too bright. Exposure compensation, EXP, sits outside of the exposure triangle. That's to say that when you change it, the other variables, none of these get affected. Whereas when you change shutter speed, aperture, or ISO, they all push and pull on one another. If you click on it, please, and you tap it, you're going to see that just above, you get like a slider bar. Looks like this.
Yeah.
I want you to slide it to the right, and I want you to look at the top of your screen. Look at me. Look at the top, and you'll see some numbers in yellow as you slide it along. Okay?
Yes.
As you slide it to the right, things are going to get brighter. This is working in stops of light.
Oh, it's way bright, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bright. 3 stops is a big jump. As you slide it to the left, things are going to get darker. It's like this is like a digital cheat for nailing the brightness straight out of your camera.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
There's a good phrase I've started giving people since I've started. I've literally been teaching this for like a month because it's so new. A way to remember it, every time you go to the right is bright. So always slide to the right to make it bright. And this will be true for all of these. We're not going to cover them all today, but all of these sliders, you're going to see when you slide it to the right, everything gets more bright. Slide it to the left, everything gets dark, doesn't rhyme with left, but everything's going to get darker. Okay. This one's easy, the easiest out of all of them to understand. When you slide it to the right, you're simply making the photo brighter. When you're sliding it to the left, you're simply making the photo darker. It's a great way to just help us control exposure.
I don't know what's going on. Mine's...
You still in the camera or you stuck?
No, I'm in Lightroom and for some reason manage access and settings keeps coming up and I don't know what the heck is I pressed.
See if you can close it and just get back to the camera.
Let me close it. Okay, Lightroom, and it goes to people. Synced photos will be analyzed in the iCloud. I haven't done it.
Ignore if you can. Or...
I can't ignore it. I can't get rid of it, Adam.
Don't worry. It's as long as you can get Cass, can you get back to the camera?
No, I can't get back to the device. Manage access settings.
Show me your phone, please.
Okay, I gotta sign off, guys.
No worries. Watch the last 5 minutes of this recording, Julie, because I
Will do.
want to show something to you guys. So make sure you watch it. But nice seeing you. I'll see you at the next class.
Thanks a lot.
Sorry, Kath, I'm trying to see what you got there. Down at the bottom, hit Lightroom. Down at the bottom, Cass.
Yep.
And then you should have the option to.
This goes these people thing.
Oh, yeah, it's blurry. I can't see it. Pull it back. Oh, click at people. You accidentally click on where it says people on the top and go to all photos.
It doesn't have it. Just says Lightroom albums, your albums.
Scroll all the way to the top. It will definitely be there. It will say, hold on. Go back. There's a back to the right of Lightroom albums. There's a little back arrow.
Oh, and then just go to all photos.
You got it.
Okay, great. Sorry. Yep. Sorry.
Now you should have the ability to get back to the camera.
Yep.
Okay. So everyone's in the camera, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. The next one says SEC.
Yep.
We're going to finish on this one today. This stands for seconds. This is your shutter speed. This is the first time you've really been able to have full control of shutter speed from inside of your iPhone.
Wow. It's amazing.
So remember, shutter speed primarily we use to control how movement is seen in our photo. Faster shutter speeds freeze, slower shutter speeds show. Let's just run it through. Click on SEC. And for most of you, the little black circle is going to be all the way to the left on auto.
Yeah.
I want you to start sliding it. You'll feel a little vibration. And then you're going to see some numbers. And they're going to be at the top. You're going to see them in yellow.
Yes.
As the shutter speed changes. As you're going further to the right, the shutter speed is getting slower. And the photo is getting brighter. For most of you, you should know this. You know shutter speed. It's just you've never been able to have as much control as I'm about to give you. You go all the way down to 1 full second. That's great for making the water look soft, like at the ocean, but you need a tripod. That's great for intentional camera movement. And you can go all the way as fast as 1/10,000, which is incredibly impressive because even most of your cameras, some of you have got like multi-$1,000 cameras, they cap out at 1/4,000th of a second. So this is for like this, it makes the photo very dark. But if you've got a hummingbird flying into the feeder or you've got a horse jumping over a hedge, you need a really fast shutter speed to capture it. We can toggle and we can expect this at the beginning. I'm going to expect you guys to have lots of bright photos and lots of dark photos. You're going to persevere with me. This is not going to be easy at the beginning, but in the long run, it's going to take your photography from here way up here. Because ultimately, you're going to be able to control everything. So when you are controlling the shutter speed, you are controlling how quickly or slowly those curtains open. If you go to the right, it's slower. Right is bright. If you go to the left, it's darker. But also if you go to all the way to the right, the more you go to the right, the more you're going to show motion. The more you go to the left, the more you're going to freeze motion. The iPhone is usually on auto, when you don't touch anything, the iPhone is at 1/100th of a second. You don't know anything about it, it just does it for you most of the time. Not always, but it tried. So if you want to just go out and just take pictures and not really worry about this, but start using the Lightroom app, I want you to start at like between 1/100 and 1/200. But what I actually want you to do is I want you to try and find some things that have movement in them. You guys are used to doing this on your cameras.
Mhm.
but I purposely want to push you to do it on your phones. And I want to find a running stream, find the ocean, find a dog running in a field. It doesn't matter. Anything that has motion. And I want you to take 5, 10, 15 different photos of that thing, a kid going on a swing, it doesn't matter, at different shutter speeds. And I want you to see what it does to the movement. At the moment, you're not going to see that. Hold on one second, Isabella. You're not going to see the brightness and darkness vary too much because I've got some other things in auto for you that eventually will take off. But for the time being, I want you to focus on if the picture does look, let's just make something up. You're photographing a hummingbird. It's really dark because you made a really fast shutter speed. All you do is you go to the EXP, the exposure compensation, and you dial it up to compensate. Maybe you're doing a slow shutter speed photo of the ocean and it's coming out too bright. You go to the EXP and you do the opposite. You make it darker. It's like weighing scales. You balance it out. Isabella.
2 questions. Do we do this on our phone? Do we take the photo through through the shutters, through the Lightroom?
Yes, absolutely. So eventually, not right now, but the long-term aim is that any photo you're taking for photography, rather than receipts, whatever, you'll be taking through the Lightroom app. We'll probably set it up as a shortcut on all of your phones, so it's really quick and easy to access. But any photo that you're taking, so in the next 2 weeks, week before I next see you guys, if you're using your phone, I want you to take it in the Lightroom app because I want you to start getting used to it. If you're taking a photo of something in the grocery store, you just use your normal camera. You can actually move the Lightroom app and put it on the main screen, on the first screen, will help you remember.
And the other question is, how do we put the Lightroom on our computer to be able to play with it?
You've got it on your computer.
It's on my phone.
As in how do you see it on your computer? Sorry.
Yeah.
That I don't think I'm going to be able to answer in 1 minute. We may have to go in a holding pattern.
Okay.
But we'll get there when we'll start joining. Next lesson, I'm gonna finish showing you the things, and then we're gonna get everything talking to each other.
Okay.
And it's helpful that you're all on a Mac. That makes things 10 times easier. But again, I don't know each one of your individualized computers, but there's generalized ways that should work. But many minor tweaks between each one of your machines. But once we get it cooking, this makes life so easy. Because you're out, you go and take pictures, you can control the shutter speed, you come back to your Lightroom, it's there waiting for you at home, you can play with it, email it off, send it to me, put it in a book, print it. It's gonna make your lives a lot more convenient in the long term. So we're out of time for today. Flew by. Nice job, everyone. Our next class is, let me check. So our next class, find out, Cass, if Incy wants to join, to Karen's point, and then I'll send her the recording if she does, Cass.
Okay.
And our next class is next Monday.
Oh,
No,
actually,
sorry,
I think
sorry.
actually, you know what? I think she did join. Yep. I think she just received from your.
I think our
Oh,
next
yeah, I
one.
did. I just got it. I just got hers. Yep. Okay, so could you send it to her, please? Yes.
Yeah, so we're now up to 11, right, Cass?
Yes, correct. 11.
Yeah,
All right.
it's not next Monday. It's the
It's the
No,
26th.
sorry, no, that was my fault. It's the 26th.
Mhm.
We got the 26th, Feb 9th, and Feb 23rd.
And I'll send you hers right now, Adam. Okay.
No worries. I'll make sure I add her to the list. I'll put her on the list. All right, everyone. Well, hold on. Here's your theme.
Homework.
Homework. Sorry, I almost forgot. So your homework is going back to a familiar theme, actually, which we've had before. We had it, but I want you to play. But now you've got a new tool. So the homework is movement.
Mhm.
Not negating all the other stuff we've learned. That could be intentional camera movement. That could be freezing a splash. That could be freezing a kid jumping in the sky. I don't care. Just showing, could be roses blowing in the wind, frozen, slowing. But I want you to get comfortable using this Lightroom app. That's the key.
Okay.
Okay. I will send you all the